What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. CBS, aka The Last Dope Intellectual, and I just want to give a huge shout out to the Renegade Culture podcast. 100 episodes is so amazing, such a huge milestone, and I cannot wait to see what y'all come up with in the next 100 episodes, keeping it real, keeping it interesting, and keeping it for the people. So I'm a fan, and keep up the good work.
Peace. What's up? This is Tori from Atlanta Influences Everything. Just want to give a stupid shout out to Renegade Culture on 100 episodes. That's a milestone, baby. Keep going.
2 years ago, a friend of mine asked me to say some MC rhymes.
So I said these rhymes I'm about to say.
The rhyme was deaf and then it
went this way. 100!
Welcome to the Centennial Show. This is the Centennial. True. Renegade Culture, 100 fucking episodes.
Know what I'm saying?
Close to 3 years.
3 years, son.
Hey,
who
congratulations.
knew? They said we wouldn't make it, and then we here. 100 years in?
Yes.
100 episodes? Well, 100 episodes. We're going to be here for 100 years.
Okay.
Because it's the best damn podcast in the land.
He said that shit.
And you know that.
In the universe.
In the universe.
Legalese and shit.
What I'm saying?
He sound like an attorney right there. This is the best damn show I've ever had.
My voice ain't like that.
Okay, cool.
It's more Malcolm-like.
Anyway, Malcolm?
Yep.
Okay.
Yo, this is Malcolm.
This is
Malcolm Franklin. Yo, 100-year podcast, and I'm with.
Hey, my name is Kalanja Jamchenga.
Now, why you the calm one tonight? I was going to call it a word, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's all good. I mean, you keep saying 100 years and shit, keep fucking me up.
Oh, because that's how old you are. Yo, who we got back here?
Yo, I go by the name of the ear doctor, and on my side,
Minister Server, along with...
It's your boy, Jai.
My man Jai High in the building.
Jai
High. That gotta be his new name.
Jai High.
I get high.
Okay.
So, it's 100. You know what I'm saying? What we do? Grab your bottle, son.
Hey,
it's time to pop the bottle.
Usually I don't drink because, you know what I mean, I'm a distinguished gentleman here. But anyway, fuck what you heard. Renegade Coach in the building. Baka.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, shit.
Oh, we got a cake.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Straight from Kroger's. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
You're not a stripper or nothing, right? So get the fuck off.
Okay.
Get off the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You got fancy cake up in here.
Got a cake going over
What the
there.
hell?
Zero tilted and shit.
5 to
It's like
0
laying
tilted,
back,
yo.
like, you know
Are
what
you
I'm saying?
ready? On 3. 1, 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to try to throw that shit in my face, man.
Yo, wait.
That would have been hilarious.
Wait a minute. Y'all not about to blow no candles out in front of me.
You can't blow candles?
Nah,
Hey,
son.
yo.
Fuck y'all.
I'm not.
100!
Anyway,
All right.
I'll let him do all the blowing. Anyway,
So
we got a live show tonight.
Yo, we got a crazy show tonight, yo.
Okay.
We got an exclusive interview.
An exclusive interview.
Yeah, but before we do that,
Okay.
I think we got to update our show a little bit.
Because we still living in the past,
I think we're living in the
Oh,
past.
okay. Word.
This is all about the
I'm looking
future,
real
son.
good. It seemed like I'm.
Ah,
like
yes.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Ah, there we go.
Okay,
Now
we
we
back
back
to
in
the
real
future
time.
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and that's
Now.
a good thing because the guest tonight is somebody who is prestigious,
Okay.
a movement icon.
Definitely an
We have
icon.
an exclusive interview with
Word.
the one and only Jalil Muntaqim.
Oh, man, listen. Y'all don't even. Man, listen.
Yeah.
Fuck what you heard. What you about to see, what you about to witness is some real deal shit, right? This brother right here is a former political prisoner. When I say former political prisoner, I'm talking about released less than a year ago.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a few months ago. I'm going to tell you something that's 100. This man right here was locked up for 49 years.
That's right.
49 years. He got locked up less than a year before I was born. Excuse me, less than a year after I was born. I wasn't even like 6-7 months and shit when this brother was born. I mean, when this brother was
Locked up,
enslaved.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's a real warrior, you know what I'm saying? He's a real trooper.
A hero of the movement.
I mean, the man been locked up since he was 19 years old.
That's right.
And they still tried to keep him up in that motherfucker.
So and we're going to get into all of that. When we talk to him, we're going to get into his movement history.
No doubt.
What was
Black Panther Party,
time like
Black
in the
Liberation
joint,
Army.
Black
Yes.
Liberation Army, all that
Word.
kind of stuff, and what he's trying to do now. What he thinks of today's movement, in a little bit of time he's been out.
Word.
What's going on and what he's getting into.
Yo, I'm really excited because on the real, this is a brother, one of the OGs that I studied and researched for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in the day, I'm gonna say back in the day because of the fact you got all these new activists, they don't know what the fuck time it is. We would write our political prisoners.
That's
we still do write our political prisoners. But we write them to let them know that we still, we still remember what's going on, you know what I mean? And that we got support for them. A lot of times these new niggas, people get locked up, they forget about it. You know what I'm saying? You be like, yo, free such and such. That shit lasts for about 2 weeks.
No, you're right.
Or to their record drop, and that shit's over. You know what I'm saying? And they forget they existed. So, you know.
And in my case, like Jalil was one of the New York prisoners, so I got to go see him like several times, visit him in prison. He was part of like the circuit of political prisoners that we tried to support. So it's an honor to have him out and to have him on our show.
Word.
And then we have our musical guest is...
Oh, man, Ken the Misfit. This brother right here.
All right.
Dope artist.
What?
I just ran into him. He's on the Movement label.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Rolling my man Blue. They said Blue's like the Joe Jackson / Quincy Jones.
The Joe Jackson. You be beating mother.
Get the fuck out.
You better get that song out of your
mouth. You don't get that motherfucking song together. You know what I'm saying? You sit over there and act cool and shit like it's all good. You be like, eat the cake, Annie, man. So this cake right here, you gonna make Kamal eat this motherfucker before we leave.
I don't know about that, bro.
You gonna make your ass eat the whole fucking cake.
Yo, I think we got a big announcement too.
We got a big announcement?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do got a big announcement.
That's right.
Almost forgot. I'm a fly motherfucker. That's the announcement. Okay, what else we got to say?
Yo, so next week, Wednesday, we are going to be doing a special show.
Live broadcast.
We're teaming up with a partner of ours. I think y'all around social media, y'all seen a little bit, little preview, little peek under, you know what I'm saying?
They don't know.
So, like, stay tuned. Major announcement. You're going Voltron on y'all. We joining forces. We're going to be doing some big things in black media space. So just stay tuned for that.
Word. Fuck what you heard.
You know what I'm saying? It's Renegade Culture. We be back.
So shout out to my brothers at Renegade Culture Podcast. Shout out to Server, DJ Ear Doctor, and Kamal. God bless you, brothers. Fuck Kalanji. Kalanji. You know what, Kalanji? I'm going to tell you, brother. I love you to death, but, man, I've been praying against the success of this bullshit-ass podcast since y'all launched it. You know, every day you change up. One day you're a revolutionary, next day you voting Democrat. How can you be a revolutionary and vote Democrat? But all that being aside, all joking aside, I love all you brothers. Congratulations on your 100th episode. I pray for your success. I want y'all to be the biggest podcast ever. I want y'all to be I don't want y'all to be the biggest radio show ever because I need my show to be the biggest radio show ever. But I want y'all to be the second biggest radio show ever, but the biggest podcast ever in the history of podcasts. I pray for nothing but success for all of y'all brothers. I love you from the bottom of my heart. But seriously, you can't call yourself revolutionaries and every election day y'all vote Democrat. Like, for real, for real. Either you're going to be a revolutionary or you're not. But you can't be a revolutionary and tell people to vote Democrat. If you want to be real revolutionaries, come to my side of the fence and vote Republican. That's real revolutionary. That's black revolutionary shit right there. Congratulations, brother. I love you. Oh, bust my shirt. Only a select few know what that address is. One day y'all will learn. Peace.
Peace, everyone. This is Tierney Cherie from the African Esquire TV YouTube show. I just want to wish the Renegade Culture Podcast a happy 100th episode. Continue to spread information, continue to share joy and laughs, and I look forward to continuing to watch and listen to you guys.
Savvy Renegade Coaches in the building.
Yo, we back with our 100th episode.
Yo, episode 100.
Bam. Who knew? Who
Man,
knew?
I knew, because I'm Kalonji Jamachenga.
Oh, true that, true.
And who you, sir?
Kamal K. Franklin, you know what I'm saying?
Honored to be here with you.
100.
100.
Another 100 to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I don't know if I'm do a whole 100 with you.
Oh, damn, no. You know.
Shit.
God.
Anyway,
yeah.
it's only fitting.
That's right.
For our 100th episode to bring in an OG.
An OG.
A vet.
Yeah.
And to give y'all something exclusive. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Exclusive.
That's right. This is his first podcast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? His first interview show that he's doing since his release.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's heavy.
So we got brother Jalil Muntaqim.
Yes.
Former Black Panther or veteran Black Panther. Party member. Yes. Member of the Black Liberation Army. Brother Jalil was arrested in 1971. He spent 49 years locked down. He was a cause celeb for many of us as a political prisoner.
True indeed.
Somebody who we fought for, who we cared about, who we visited. And when he got out, you know, the celebrations happened all across the movement because Jalil is a real hero of our struggle.
It's part of the New York 3.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The New York 3, for us coming up in movement and struggle, I'm 50, but coming up for my teenage years, that was one of the main crews or the main group of political prisoners that we were pushing for. You know what I mean? So we're honored to have this brother on here. I was talking before. We was talking before we started recording. He had been locked up since I was about 8 months old. You know what I'm saying? So my whole life,
that's right,
up until less than 8 months ago, you know what I'm saying? This brother's been locked up. So it's an honor to have.
That's right.
Jalil Muntaqim in the building.
Jalil, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Kamal. Doing well, Kalaji. How your brothers?
Man,
we're doing good, man.
We doing real good today, man. We trying to be our own liberators, like you said.
That's right.
You know
and you
what I
look fantastic.
That's what it's all about, bro. You know I'm teaching a class on my book, right?
Yeah, we heard.
Yeah, it's been going good. I had the first 2 classes, Tuesdays and Thursday, and it went pretty well. So I'm looking forward for the next 5 more classes, 5 more weeks of classes. I'm dealing with the book from cover to cover.
For folks who are not familiar with the book, because of the fact that, you know, our show, it's political, but at the same time, we try to reach the masses. You know what I mean? We're not caught up on, you know, stiff politics. You know what I mean? We try to go out there amongst the people. So for folks who are not familiar with your book, tell them about it. We're on Liberated.
Well, it was a book that I first started off as a pamphlet. The pamphlet was called for the Liberation of North America. And I first wrote that back in 1979, I believe it was. I had just got a parole from San Quentin, and they brought me to New York. And I was up in Clinton and then Attica. And I finished completing for the Liberation of North America. And so it was a good book. It was a good pamphlet. You know, it was about 57, 56 pages. And so it was distributed. It got some good, you know, feedback from people on that. And but you know, over the years, you know, my ideas changed. You know, I grew, I matured. You know, so my ideas kind of developed as a process. And so then I began to write for our own liberation. We're own liberators. And I wrote one. First was published in 2020, and then it was republished in 2010. So the book is about 21 years old, and it still resonates with the people and with the movement today. And so it's a good book. Unfortunately, it's out of print. Only way people can get it is on ebooks, from what I understand. But after 20 years, you can find that what was written back then, it resonates to what's going on today. You know, it
so
seems
we get
like,
into,
you know, what I envisioned back then, it's come to manifestation, come to fruition today. The socioeconomic and political conditions today are ripe for what I was talking about back then. And so people are finding it something that they are attaching to. They have requested that I teach the book, and so that's what I started doing Tuesday. That's what I started doing on the 9th. And so it's a good book. It's a good book. I hope people at least get it on the ebook.
Jalil, let me jump in. Let me jump in on you. So Jalil, we wanted to get a little bit into your political history. Obviously, as a young man, you joined the Panthers late 1960s, early 70s. Why don't you tell us about what was the conditions and what caused you to even join the Black Panther Party?
Well, to be honest with you, Kamal, you know, I really have to go back until my own consciousness, level of consciousness that I grew up with. And I grew up in a household where consciousness was there, black consciousness was there. My mom, as a young teenager mother, right, she used to be an African dancer, right? She learned African dancing. She used to teach that to my sister and myself, African dance. And one of the things she learned, and one she taught my sister and I, that we're Africans, right? I grew up with the idea that we're African. I never grew up with the idea of being a Negro or being a colored person or whatever kind of derogatory names that it was named black people at that time, all right? So my consciousness began with my mom, at the foot of my mom, right, with the idea that we are Africans. In high school, when I was going to high school, I became a Black Student Union chairperson, a leader in Black Student Union, and fighting for Black Studies when they didn't have Black Studies, you know, back in the days. So we organized for Black Studies in our high school. One of the things that was important to me, right, helped in my own development and influence was I used to be good in school. I was good in school. You know, school was never a problem for me. However, math, one of the things that I love, I used to get tutored. And one of the persons who used to tutor me was John Carlos. John Carlos, some of you may know, was the iconic photo of him and Tommy Smith at the Olympics, 1968 Olympics, with the fist up in the air, right? Well, he was one of my tutors, right? And so I grew up in that kind of era of people engaged in struggle, engaged in support of black ideas, black liberation, black thought, right? And so I was always have been in support of that kind of thinking at that time. When I was 15, my mom, for my 15th birthday, she bought me a conga drum, right? That was my 15th birthday. And I learned how to play the congas. I was involved in a group called the Afro Brotherhood, right? And that's my cultural nationalist days, right? When I was actually into the idea of being, that cultural nationalism was going to be a form of liberation. It was where the boobas and the dashikis and the bees and the dark glasses and play the conga drums, you know? The whole idea, trying to learn some Swahili, was unable to do so. Because, we didn't even have no teachers or anything like that, learning off the cuff. But when I saw the Black Panthers, I think it was in 1968, going to Sacramento to fight against the Mumford Act, which was when Reagan was the president was the governor of California. He tried to prevent us from carrying weapons. At the time, the law was that we had open carrying, like they have in some states today. But when the Panthers was open carrying, they wanted to change the law. So they changed the law, and it was called the Mumford Act. And so the Panthers went to Sacramento, the capital of Sacramento, carrying their weapons to oppose the implementing of the Mumford Act. And when I saw that, I said, these are some black guys that I want to be a part of, right? Now, I had some familiarity with them because I had some old elementary schools had become Panthers. But, I was still like my cultural nationalist ideas at the time. But when I saw what they were doing, I told my mom, I said, yo, Mom, I want to be like them guys. She said, no, man, that's not happening, right? Because she's in some Martin Luther King, civil rights and, nonviolent stuff. But for me, that was, of course, generation, being young, right? You want to look for those more militant, more active individuals about the people, about the work. And so that was the first time that I really looked at them with a critical eye and said I want to be a part of it. Soon thereafter, when I turned 18 years old, that's when I actually joined the Black Panther Party. I became actually an active member of the Black Panther Party. I actually joined when I was 16. I signed up for when I was 16, but I actually became an active member of the Black Panther Party when I turned 18 years old in San Francisco.
So you turn 18, you become an active member, and 1 year later, you have charges being brought up on, and you're headed to prison. Tell us. That's
a fact.
Yeah.
One thing we got to understand about the Black Panther Party, remember the original name of it was?
Black Panther Party for Self-Defense.
Right.
That's a fact. All right. And so the whole idea of the Black Panther Party was they're going to defend the community, one thing against police brutality, right? But they also defend the community against hunger. They defend the community against being unhoused. They defend the community against the issues of being sent to prison, mass incarceration. We didn't know that name at that time, but that's what was going on. All right, they defend the community against health care, right? They created health clinics in the community. But more important, as important as those things, they also defend our community against police violence and police brutality, something that is continuing today. So I joined the Black Panther Party when I was 18 years old, and soon thereafter, because of my audacity, you might say, or naivety, you might even say, right? I was recruited into the Black Underground. Now, keep in mind also that the Black Panther Party, from its origins in 1966, October of 1966, that Bobby Seals and Huey P. Newton had already incorporated within the Black Panther Party for self-defense the idea that there will be a revolutionary underground movement, a revolutionary organization. So rule number 6 of the Black Panther Party was that no Black Panther Party member can join any other organization but the Black Liberation Army. That's rule number 6. So that was part of the inception of the party from Jump Street, right? But then LEAA, the Law Enforcement Administration, Association Administration, or something like that, I read in one of their documents, in one of their papers, that in 1968, when they had a riot down in Mexico, and the police killed a bunch of protesters down there, one of the individuals down there had in his pocket a letter that had the name on it, Black Liberation Army. Now, whether or not the Black Liberation Army was in existence back then or not, we really don't know, right? But according to the LEAA report, there was somebody down there had that name on a piece of paper in their pocket who got murdered down in Mexico. and that was 1968. So, so the Black Liberation Army has always been an indelible part of the inception of the Black Panther Party, and I was recruited into the BLA in my early years of 18 years old, going on 19. Yeah.
So we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jalil about his time in prison and what he thinks about what's happening in the movement today. We'll be back on Renegade Culture.
Black out.
Man, this is Raheem Shabazz, man. I just want to give a big shout out, man, to Renegade Culture on their 100th episode. Can you believe that? A whole bunch of renegades made it to 100 episode of their podcast. That's monumental. Hey, yo, man, the Renegade Culture family, man, is like the Wu-Tang Clan, man. You got Minister Server over there. You got Kamal. Then you got my man Kalanji Changa, man. He's like the old dirty bastard over there. You know what I mean? So, yo, man, tune in, man. Check that out, man.
Mercy Lee here, co-host of the Necessary Blackness podcast. I want to send love and congratulations to the fam over at the Renegade Culture podcast on your 100th episode. And here's to many, many more. Peace.
Welcome, Renegade Culture. We back again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Episode 100.
That's right, on the strength.
With our guest,
Jalil
Muntaqim.
That's right.
First podcast interview.
We got the exclusive.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? When he went in, there wasn't no damn podcast.
I don't think there was.
You know what I'm saying? So he come out and he roll with Renegade Culture.
Wasn't a lot of things. No cell phones, no cable.
None of that ice cream he was eating a few minutes ago.
None of that ice cream he was having. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of things changed. But anyway, Jalil, I mean, you know, we mentioned that you were part of New York 3, right? And there are people in the audience, they like, man, is that a rap group? Is it a Sugar Hill Gang? You know what I'm saying? Is it Run DMC? Who's the New York 3? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So can you explain who and what the New York 3 was and how it came about?
Yeah, on August 28th, 1971, myself and Sheikh Noah Washington, Albert Washington, he's now an ancestor. Mm-hmm. He died in prison in 2000 for cancer. We were arrested in an arrest. We had a shootout with the police, right? They tried to arrest us. We shot it out with them. We got captured. And it was due to, they alleged that we got in the shootout because we was attempting to retaliate for the death of George Jackson. Mm-hmm. George Jackson was murdered on August 21st, 1971, and we was arrested on August 28th, 1971. And so as a result of that arrest, they alleged that we had weapons that was engaged or involved in the case in May of 1971 in New York, the killing of 2 police officers. And as a result of that, we was tried for those murders. And it resulted in our being in prison, and I stayed in prison for 49 years, going on almost 50 years as a result of this case.
Wow.
50 years. I mean, you basically spent your whole entire adult life locked behind bars in maximum security prison. And obviously you got a lot of support from outside, but it's a broad question, but can you talk a little bit about what the experience of prison in that long is like and how you survived, intact, strong, with your politics intact, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, let me just say this here. Prison ain't for the weak, right? But I also want to say this also. Prison ain't no place for one to seek to go to either, all right? Especially for the young kids out there involved in these gangs and street organizations, so forth and so on, and have no disregard for other people's lives or even for their own in that respect. Prison is not a place for you to get your street creds, right? Prison is a place where you are actually being exploited by the system, okay? So in my understanding, because I was political before I went into prison, I remained to be political while I was in prison. I became an organizer while I was in prison for the most part. I started the first revolutionary national newspaper, prison newspaper called Armed Spirit while I was in San Quentin prison. I started the first, it was first march organized the first march on Washington D.C. And also started had the first petition ever submitted to the United Nations by prisoners that was heard by members of the United Nations. Was a UN prisoners petition campaign in regards to political prisoners. First time the issue was political prisoners ever brought to the United Nations. I organized that. And also in 1998, I started the first a national organization called Jericho Movement as a result of having people march, what we call a Jericho March, to Washington, D.C. In respects to the issues of the existence of political prisoners. Jericho now have been in existence for going on over 20 years, right? I'm co-founder of Jericho along with my sister Sophia Bukhari and my dear brother Baba Herman Ferguson. God bless. They rest in peace. Both of them, they were the ancestors. And so I'm the only living co-founder of the Jericho Movement, co-founder of the Jericho Movement today. And so we'll find that for me, prison was just an extension of the community in terms of my organizing and trying to deal with the issues of it being in prison and recognizing that there's a system that created a condition for our people, particularly black and brown people, to be sent in prison en masse, right, en masse. And so all the time I was in prison, I organized. I used to teach black history classes. I used to teach sociology classes. I used to teach poetry classes. And I used to organize. So that's how I survived prison. I survived prison by continuing to live the spirit of the party, live the spirit of the movement, and being of service to our people, inside and outside of prison. That's how I survived it.
You know, we've spoken to a number of different former political prisoners, you know what I mean? We've, you know, in our travels, just working with folks like Robert King Wilkinson from down in Louisiana, you know, of course, Deruba, and so many others who came out, Marshall Eddie Conway, folks like that, the folks from the MOVE organization, so on and so forth. You know, you had, you know, you've seen folks like you said, Albert Noah Washington, you know, and Hugo Yogi Purnell, who was assassinated a few years ago during Black August. For you to come out 49 years intact, man, I mean, there should have been a ticker tape parade. I'm talking about folks should have been singing in the streets because of the fact that for all practical purposes, you were down longer than Mandela. You know what I'm saying?
Was, yeah.
Yeah, and to come out intact, man, it's like, man, I mean, you know, this show is usually lighthearted, you know, but I feel your spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me say something about that. Just pointing, because I've been asked that question many times. And my answer to that question is here. They had my body in prison. They never had my soul and my mind in prison.
Indeed.
My soul and my mind has always been on the streets.
Word.
I always try to find out some kind of way how I can be of service to our community, right, while I was in prison. So when they released me, only they did was synchronize my body where my soul and mind had always been. And I was out here in the community.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to that. And that's how I survived this prison.
And you had it because of the fact, for us, our organization, We're on Liberator is one of our mandatory political education books. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, you were here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But just to be able to say, okay, boom, you out of I don't want to say general population, you out of solitary confinement because you're still in general population out here with us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
From maximum security to the minimum security. I'm in minimum security now. Right. We still are under condition of still racist repression.
True indeed. Question, you talked about San Quentin. Your case was out of New York. Now you weren't a federal prisoner. How did that thing work out? How did you end up in California from New York?
I was extradited.
Yeah. Okay.
They said that the case evolved in New York, so they extradited me in 1972. They extradited from California to New York. I stood trial for 3 years. The first trial was a hung jury, excuse me, in favor of acquittal. The second trial, they did some shenanigans and got convicted. Originally, it was 5 of us, but 2 of us was dismissed in the case and returned to New York 3 in the second trial. And the 3 of us, the 3 black guys who was involved in this case, were convicted. And after my conviction, they sent me back to California to finish the time that I had to do in California. And in 1977, I was released from California, parole from California, brought me back to New York, and then I started this the bid in New York, and I was released in October 7th, 2020. So that's altogether to 1971 to October 2020, October 7th, 2020 is about 49 years and a couple of months.
Okay. And you were released when? When was that? When were you released? October?
October 7th,
okay.
2020.
Now, you can update us on what's happening in terms of this because after you were released and paroled, there's been an ongoing case. You just had a press conference a few weeks ago around them trying to get you back in, and because over the many decades of struggle to get you out, obviously the New York State Parole Board, the governor, they've all been against your release, the Attorney General, and finally, obviously during this pandemic, you were released, and obviously a lot of that also came with the struggle of people who were by your side over, again, many decades. Can you talk a little bit about what life has been like for you out on the outside? And again, as much as you can, talk about like this pending case that's happening now and any support that could be given to you.
Sure, absolutely. Let me begin by saying that I was originally up for parole in 2002. I just want to originally became eligible to be released on parole was in 2002. And they kept denying me. Every 2 years they would hit me and deny me for release from prison. In 2020, I got COVID. Mm-hmm. We tried to make an effort to have me released from prison prior to COVID, me catching being infected by COVID. And the judge had ruled for my be granted release, release on habeas corpus. And unfortunately, Tish James, Attorney General of the New York State, denied my or challenged the courts, the judges permitted me to be released prior to me catching COVID. And during the interim of she appealing that decision, I caught COVID. Mm-hmm. And I got it bad. They had me in the hospital for 5 days. Took me up to Albany Medical Center for 5 days and kept me on oxygen. They shut me up with all kinds of drugs, all kinds of experimental stuff. Some drugs that white supremacist who was in the White House, Trump said he got. I got all those drugs long before he did. Matter of fact, I was the first person in New York State to receive those drugs. The Memisphere, Recidivir, all kinds of stuff, right? Blood plasma, the whole bit, and in order to save me. And they did, right? Albany Medical Center, kudos to you, right? They saved me. I was returned back to the institution after 6 days. Was returned back to the Sullivan Correctional Facility, and I think it was 5 months later, I went to the parole board. And I was eventually granted release on parole, and so that's how I was able to win my release as a result of continuing to fight. And naturally, the people supported me over the years, and they continue to support me. So upon my release, there was a group of individuals here in Rochester, where I now live, that gave me a very soft landing in my release. I was really appreciative of the support that I received from the community. They have an organization here called Free the People, right? There was an offshoot from Black Lives Matter, and they really accepted me into their community, and I'm extremely grateful. However, as a result of my release, there's one pundit guy named Bob Lonsberry who was upset by the fact that this guy who used to be a Black Panther Party member was living in the Rochester area. And so he went on a rampage about my being released. And he caused the Republican representative in this area to challenge my release. Now, why did they challenge my release? Well, I was released on October 7th, 2020. I went to see my parole officer. My parole officer suggested I go to the Department of Social Services and see about getting some benefits. Right, and that's what I did. So I went over to the Department of Social Services to take care of some business, check out some papers, and they allege that I filed some papers or signed some papers that stating that I registered to vote. All right, and as a result of that, their allegation was that I committed voter fraud, and so they gave me two felony charges, and a misdemeanor charge, and those charges still hanging over my head to this very day. Damn. As a result of being handed some papers by the people who work at the Department of Social Services, and they're filling out these documents, not knowing the extent of these documents or how they work for me or work against me, right? They allege that what I did was voter fraud. What should be noted is that in the history of the New York State, and all people who ever made an error on those type of documents, not one single person, not one individual has ever been charged with a crime. Not one.
That's crazy. No. We're listening to Renegade Culture, listening to Jalil Muntaqim, former political prisoner who's locked up for 49 years. He's been out a little over 4 months. Yeah. And we have him here live on Renegade Culture. And it's man, I'm stunned because of the fact that the whole thing on the voter fraud and all of that. I mean, they try anything. They pull up the sidewalk to make you taller, the whole nine, anything to to bag you. So this is when you think, for the listeners, when you think that when you set out and you say you're against the state, you know what I mean, it's for life. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of these new cats that's on the scene, they think they could jump in and out like they playing double dutch.
But let me say something about what you just said. You said that I'm against the state. Not necessarily so. I'm for black people. And for people of color. Right. And for depressed people. Right? That's what I'm for. It's not what I'm against. That's the problem. It's what I'm for. Yeah, and I think that's the kind of idea, that's the kind of thing that we should try to engender amongst people. Right? And not so much about what we are against. It's about what we are for.
Sure. And you know, Jalil,
we're about human rights. Yeah. Right. We're about civil rights. Yeah. We're about what is equitable and equal. We're about equal rights.
And right? Jalil,
so what I'm for is a problem. It's not what I'm against.
I'm sorry about that. On that note, what we're going to do is take our last break and come back because we want to get into what you think about what's happening in the movement today and your ideas about how we can move forward when we come back on Renegade Culture.
No doubt. Renegade Culture. Black Eye.
What's happening, y'all? It's Dr. Dia, founder of the Hype Movement. And today I am celebrating 100 episodes of Renegade Culture Podcast. Congratulations to Kalanji, Kamal, Ear Doctor, Minister Server, and the whole entire crew. Everybody who makes the show happen from week to week. Congratulations on this huge milestone. Continue being a voice of the people, bringing a message of liberation. I appreciate you guys for what you do. I salute you. Again, congratulations on 100 episodes of Renegade Culture Podcast. Peace.
Yo, this is Rod Stars from Rebel Diaz, sending big love, you know what I'm saying, revolutionary salute to the brothers at the Renegade Culture Podcast, you know what I'm saying, celebrating their 100th episode, y'all, you know what I'm saying. Make sure y'all tune in, get some of that Renegade Culture, y'all. Peace.
Yo, it's Renegade Culture, and we back.
Okay.
And we black. That's for you, Jalil, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, Count Kamal was back.
Oh, my
anyway, all that we back, and blah, blah. Anyway, we live with Jalil Muntaqim again. Today, you've like you said, you've been down damn near half a century as far as your physical, as you pointed out earlier. We want to know, like, you come out and it's a whole new quote-unquote movement going on. The folks in the street. You got COVID's in full effect. You got Black Lives Matter. You got All Lives Matter, No Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying, and all that type stuff going on. What's your thoughts when you hit the ground? And I already knew you had your finger on the pulse of everything that was going on anyway. But hitting the ground, coming out here right now, what's your thoughts on quote-unquote today's movement and what's missing?
Whoa, that's a big question. What's missing is the question of organization and leadership. And what's missing is the question of unity and uniformity. What's missing is an idea that we can, in fact, be our own liberators. That's what's missing. And because we don't have the kind of organization, structure, or the ideological foundation that is well embedded in our communities, then our people has been, for the most part, suffering from the ills of COINTELPRO, right? The destruction of a movement back in the 60s and 70s. We have not recovered from that destruction, from that type of level of police repression or government repression. And as a result, we continue to be ones who have been traumatized, not only from the days of slavery to the present, but we've been traumatized by the kind of repression that we have suffered ever since. So every time there's a killing of a young black man or a young black woman, there's trauma in our community. Mm-hmm. Every time there's this unlawful arrest and conviction of people of our community, that's trauma in our community. And so we have to figure out ways how to deal with that trauma. And the only ways we can do that and recover from that is to engage in struggle, right? And so that is the point where we need to move forward today. We need to reestablish some unity, some national unity, an ideological foundation that is coherent and consistent with our history of struggle. We need to build a movement that is not a trend like the social black consciousness movement of Black Lives Matter. That's what I consider it to be, a social consciousness movement, not too much different than the black consciousness movement of South Africa, right? And so that's basically what it is. And I'm grateful for the idea that they have come to existence to raise some degree of consciousness and understanding of the level of oppression that black people suffer in this country. But in terms of building an organization that will move towards any degree of independence or liberation, they're not the ones. They're not doing it. I don't believe they even have the idea of doing it.
I mean, it feels like it's a social...
That is the missing element in regards to our overall struggle. But I can appreciate Black Lives Matter, all their trends and tendencies, because they have the degree by which they raise consciousness, and in some ways create some levels of self-pride or black pride, and recognize that we do have value, in this culture. So that in that way, I am supportive of Black Lives Matter, but I think that in regards to moving forward, they have to make another transition in regards to what they really intend to achieve as an organization. I'm concerned about what is going to go forward, how we're going to move forward, and building something substantial that's going to be, in essence, institutionalized and move towards independence and liberation.
So Jalil, when we had Sekou Odinga on a few months ago too, and he gave a similar answer. Like he said he was happier, he's happy that they're there than not per se, but there's not the type of grassroots organizing that folks like you and him and others did back in the day when folks were in the community. There seems to be more lobbying, more policy work, more electoral work, particularly at the national level. But, so what's your thoughts on the idea that, folks are not on the ground, really? Folks are not necessarily making connections on the street level and doing that kind of street organizing that pays dividends, because that's the folks who, you need to politicize and work with and bring into these organizations.
Yeah, well, we have today what we call the nonprofit industry, right? Who are actually funding progressive movements in this country. And because they are funding these progressive movements, they, in their own quote-unquote neoliberalism, have a way of controlling how these organizations are moved, how they operate in our community. And so that's a problem that we have to address. We need to find some way how to become self-sufficient on our own organizing and become independent in our own organizing. We need to develop our own benefactors to support our movement. We are not there yet. There are a lot of black millionaires and billionaires, a few billionaires, not many, black billionaires and millionaires in this country who are not necessarily supportive of our own liberation because they are invested into the capitalist system in and of itself, right? And that's their bread and butter. But unfortunately, we have to deal with that on some point, right, in terms of our own class struggle within the national liberation movement, all right? And we have to address those issues. And so that is the issue that we really have to address at some point. Yes, we need to go back to the kind of organizations that were existing in the Black Panther Party. But the Black Panther Party had self-help programs. The kind of programs at that time they called a survival pending revolution, right? We need to develop health clinics in our own communities. We need to develop free breakfast programs in our own community. We need to develop kinds of tenant strike and tenant support base in our communities. And if we can develop those kind of structural organizations, structural development in terms of organization, what I call decolonization programs, if we can build decolonization programs, decolonize our mind, decolonize our thinking in terms of our relationships with one another, that we can be independent and self-sufficient, we create autonomous regions, then I think we can build a movement that will be substantial and significant in regards to challenging the type of moribund ills that we are facing due to the fact of the kind of hierarchical government that we are, the white supremacist government that we are now under. So that's what we need to do. We need to create new structures and new institutions that are dependent upon our own capacity to survive.
How can you mentioned Jericho movement earlier? You mentioned being one of the founders and the last living founder or co-founder. How can folks, support Jericho, and what are some of the things you're looking to see come out of, the future of Jericho?
Very good question. I'm glad you asked that question. At the moment, the Jericho movement is moving towards what we call, in the spirit of Nelson Mandela. There's a program that we have developed as a basis of a call that I made when I was in a Southport Correctional Facility under a 23-hour lockdown. Let me just back up a little bit. I got sent to Southport for teaching the Black History class when I was in Attica. And apparently they didn't like the things that I was saying because I was trying to create interdiction between the kind of bloodshed that was going on, the type of warfare that was going on between the gangs, the street gangs in the prison system. And because I was making an argument that they don't understand their history, they locked me down for that. All right. And so I was in Southport, and I came up with the idea of the Spirit of Nelson Mandela movement, our campaign, and for the purpose of having the international jurors to again come to the United States and discuss the issues of the existence of political prisoners, and also to deal with the issues of genocides that we as a people have been confronting in the United States. This October, the Jericho movement will be having what we call International Tribunal 2021. And one of the things that we're doing in the spirit of Nelson Mandela is that we are raising and commemorating the We Charge genocides, the 70th anniversary of We Charge genocides, the first petition that was submitted to the United Nations by the eminent Paul Robeson and William Patterson. And so we are commemorating the 70th anniversary of that by also calling the international jurors to come to the United States and for us to bring to them another charge of We Charge genocides. The conditions that existed back in 1951 when Paul Robeson and William Patterson brought the issues of genocides to the United Nations, they still exist today, right? Many of those conditions exist today. And so in our commemoration of that, we're raising these same issues to the international jurors, and we are intending to have our scholars and a legal team to present our argument to the international jurors in October of 2021, and we will, as a result of that decision by the international jurors, we intend to file a federal petition in the federal courts, the federal district courts, raising the questions that was presented to the international jurors and with their decision, and hopefully with the support of the international community, having brought our question, our issues to the international community of the issues of our concerns of what we say is that we are charging genocides. We bring them to the federal court for the purpose of the United States government to address those issues. They would have to answer them, and they would have to answer them with the basis of support that we have obtained from the international community. We are moving forward in support of our people and our liberation and independence on the basis of understanding that the conditions that we are suffering in the United States are intolerable, right? When we have 70 million people that voted for a white supremacist to be as president of the United States, out of that 70 million, we can expect that there's probably 30 million more, right, that we don't even know about, right? There's 7 million that we do know about. And so in that understanding of the conditions that we are suffering under, the conditions that we are confronting in the United States, don't seem like they're going to go away anytime soon.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I think white people need to get in touch with their own base and deal with white people. You know, we can't fight white supremacy. White people got to fight white supremacy. All right, it's their uncles, their brothers, their sisters who run around with the Confederate flag and tearing down the Capitol building. All right? And so that's not black people's struggle. Our struggle is that when we are confronted by white supremacy, when we are disempowered by white supremacy, we need to defend ourselves against white supremacy. All right? But it's not us to go to white people and tell white people stop being racist. All right? It's right. White people need to tell white people to stop being racist. That's their business. That's their struggle. Yeah. Right? What we need to do is get away from them. Right? Divorce ourselves from them. That's our goal and objective. All right? And we need to figure out ways how we can depend upon ourselves for ourselves and for our own liberation and independence. That's the only way that we're going to be able to survive this madness. Right? We've been suffering from it for the last 450 years, right? And it ain't changed, right? And every time we get progress, they try to knock us back, right? What happened with Obama was backlash, right? What we find with Trump, all right? And that's not nothing new.
That's right.
In 1920 was, well, no, 1940, there was 20,000 Klansmen, right? Dressed, right? Marching in Washington, right? So what we find with the Proud Boys and whatever they call them guys doing, talking about we gonna take back, make America great again. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing all over again, right? Yeah. After the pandemic in 1918, as another example, after the pandemic in 1918, what happened? You had the Red Summer, right? White folks going crazy, right? Killing the black people in Chicago, in Detroit, right? Leading up to 1925. When they burned up Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. So after this pandemic, what we can expect? I don't know. Will it be a return of the same thing? Will it be a return of a history repeating itself? If we haven't learned the lessons from back in 1920 and 1925, then what lessons are we finding today? All right. So I think there's a time that we really have to really step up and recognize that there's some serious issues that we have to confront amongst ourselves and within ourselves in dealing with the issues of this country. So in October 2021, right, Jericho movement will be bringing the issues of recharge genocide with international jurors, and we will hopefully bring our questions of our issues into the international community. Malcolm once said that our struggle is not a civil rights struggle, it's a human rights struggle.
That's right.
And on the basis of that alone, we are raising our question to the human rights, to the international community in October 2021.
Jalil Muntaqim, thank you. So, I mean, Jalil's on fire. He comes out, he's on fire. You know what I'm saying? He's doing that work. So we got one light question for you. You've been out for 4 months. What's the best thing about being out?
Being with my mama and my kids.
Ah, there you go. There you go. I mean, you locked up for 49 years. You come out, you're looking better than Kalonji ever looked. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Man,
so,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, you right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I thought Kamal was locked up for 49. I had to look and think. I'm like, who are you talking about here? You know what I'm saying?
Brother Jalil, we want to thank you so much for coming on. Again, original Black Panther Party member, part of the Black Underground, locked up for 49 years, former political prisoner, a true hero of our struggle, Jalil Muntaqim, thank you so much for coming on.
No doubt. Salute. We appreciate you.
Renegade Culture, we'll be back next with our musical guest in a second. Bam.
Ken the Misfit up next.
Yo, peace and respect. John Robinson here. I want to give a major salute and congratulations to the Renegade Culture Podcast, the 100th episode. Salute to y'all, brothers. I see y'all working. You know, you've been holding it down over there, keeping your ears to the street, letting the people know what's going on in the world from all aspects and sectors of life. And, you know, I love the variety. I love the fact that there's a humorous element to it. You know, y'all be going at each other. I love all of that because it's real, right? It's organic. But I just wanted to send a quick salute. Keep doing your thing. Keep shining. Yo, much love, respect. John Robinson. Peace.
What's happening, Renegade Coaches in the building?
Yo, we just
Hot
had
show tonight.
Oh, yes, right, man. We just had a great show. We had our brother Jalil Muntaqim on, you know what I'm saying? Former political prisoner, Black Panther Party member, Black Liberation Army. It was fantastic to have that brother on.
Yo, man, and this has been the 100th episode.
That's right. We can't forget that.
Centennial.
100.
I'm really juiced right now because of the fact that, you know, that I remember episode 1.
I know.
Coming up in that joint. And I remember episode 2, too, man. You had some whack dude come through, but that's another story. Oh. But anyway.
Still one of the highest rated shows we've ever had.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? That brother came on and talked about socialism and stuff like that. He was pretty good.
He was talking like Mike Tyson, but he came through looking like Skibo from the West Coast. Oh, but it was all good. You know what I'm saying?
What we doing now, man? What we doing now?
Anyway, we're going to skip to the musical guest. We have a musical guest. This brother right here, he's from Mississippi.
That's right. All right.
I mean, first of all,
I live in Mississippi.
You live in Mississippi?
2
Jackson,
years.
that's right.
That's right.
Shout out to Mississippi.
Spell it.
Jackson.
Spell it.
MISSISSIPPI.
Oh, my bad.
And you call him a bitch.
You got to lay it on. You got to lay it on.
You're not from Mississippi. Right, that's right. That's how we know you're not from Mississippi.
That's like,
goddamn word.
Shout out to all the cats we know from Mississippi.
The crooked letter, no crooked letters. No humpback.
That's how you gotta do it. I'm talking about St. Ives. So good.
Gotta say the crooked letter.
No crooked letter, no humpback.
Okay, all right.
Come out.
Introduce our guest.
Anyway, brothers from Mississippi, from Macon, Mississippi. Right?
Yes, sir.
This brother right here, man, he's a crooner.
Oh.
He's a young brother because of the fact that, I heard about some of his influences and whatnot.
Oh, we'll get to that.
We're going to definitely get to that. But, he's a hot new artist. You know what I'm saying? He's on the Movement Records. He has an EP dropping February 14th.
Well, all right.
Which is Sunday.
Valentine's Day?
Yes.
I saw the tie-in. There you go.
Yeah, well, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but you know what I'm saying? We're anti-capitalists up in this motherfucker.
Nobody loves you.
That's the way he's saying he got no money to get nobody no presents. So don't be expecting nothing.
All right.
And nobody loves you.
But listen, but on the real though, I'm happy that you and Naka will be together. Anyway,
I love you, man.
So, anyway, this brother right here has a new EP. It's called Baggage Claim.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about Baggage Claim. Brother.
First,
Baggage Claim.
Can you
tell the artist the name? The artist's name, brother?
Oh.
He did this every show.
My bad.
Every show.
Anyway, but I got interrupted by these two weirdos. Anyway, we have Ken the Misfit in the building.
All right.
Exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You heard him here first. Ken the Misfit, Baggage Claim. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Tell us about Baggage Claim, man.
Debut EP is basically, I guess the best way to summarize it is like the progression of a relationship. Like we go from strangers to lovers and then, strangers again. And it's basically claim your baggage. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is my stuff, this is your stuff. Like, let's claim our shit and, take these lemons and make lemonade.
Wait, the way you said that shit, it sounds like it was filled with sorrow. It said, strangers, lovers, and strangers again.
And you got that crooner voice, you know what I'm saying?
You hear that romanticism. So about to sing the answer.
You know what I'm saying? About to bam.
So that sounds like a hardcore joint. I got the opportunity to go in the studio and check out some of the pieces that they have coming out. It's going to be a hard body joint.
All right.
You got some dope videos as well. So who are some of your influences, man? Like, how'd you come up with this thing?
I'd have to say Music Soul Child, of course.
Music Soul Child.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kim Burrell.
Yeah.
And Brandy Norwood. They just great at what they do, all of them. Really great at what they do.
You probably the first artist that I've seen come on here and say Music Soul Child.
As a musical influence, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never heard anybody talk about Cockroach from the Cosby Show.
Oh, man, come on.
I'm just saying,
man, come on.
For those of y'all that watch the Cosby Show, it was Cockroach, right? Right? Am I wrong?
Man, you can't do my guy like that. You can't do my guy like that.
Okay, what was his name on Martin?
You can't do my guy like that.
What was his Cockroach? It was Cockroach.
No, it wasn't Cockroach.
It was Tommy and
Cold Soul Child.
Cold Soul Child.
So when I first saw him, I'm like, look at Cold Child.
They both about 2 feet tall and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
A foot and a half.
Man, y'all not finna do my guy like that.
I'm sorry.
We like, you know what I'm saying?
It ain't personal. You know what I'm saying? If we had him on here, we'd have to tell him this is Renegade Culture.
That's how we talk about people.
Right.
Plus, we don't like him, we had to hang his ass from the cliff and shit. That's why we got these other fellas over here.
So now you out here in Atlanta, you're not in Mississippi anymore.
No, not in Mississippi anymore. I've been here for like the last 5-6 years.
And how you like the scene out here?
Man, I love it. I love it. It's what it was my launch pad to get me here.
Word. Launch pad to get you from Macon, Mississippi to Atlanta, Georgia. That's a serious thing. I always salute brothers and sisters from Mississippi because of the fact that, coming from where we come from up north, I mean, Mississippi is like hell to us.
Yeah.
Anytime I drive through Mississippi, I'm like, what? Look, you ain't going to motherfucking speed limit going through Mississippi. I'm with a cat. And we went through Mississippi one time with the Ruber going to Showcase funeral. Man, I was scared to death. Dude going like 110 miles an hour.
Yeah, what was you scared of in Mississippi?
Man,
come on, man. They still got that rep.
Man, listen, man. We scared of what we might have to do to one.
You know what I'm saying? They still got that rep.
It's a lot of strange fruit in
strange fruit.
Ain't it never happened to me out there?
None ever happened to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I probably look scary or something. I don't know. Ain't it never happened to me?
Okay. Ain't never happened coming out of there. We're going to try to gas
it. So, one thing that we do on our shows, we do a bold question.
A bold question.
We do a bold question.
It's called Knock is Nonsense.
Knock is Nonsense.
Okay.
And so we got 100 questions in here, right?
It look like 200.
Shut up, man. It's like 100 questions in here, right? So we want
Right,
you to
right.
pick one question that you've never seen before.
Right,
okay?
right.
All right,
Obviously.
and then you, shh, brother, don't give up the gig. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna pass it over to you to pick a question for us.
Okay.
Knocking nonsense. The bowl is back.
The bowl.
He glued it back
And that's
together.
that's a cheap bowl.
A lot of questions.
Candy
I don't
dish.
know where you get it from.
This man got a lot
I
of
need to
questions.
like shuffle them up,
Shuffle
shuffle
do
them
that.
up.
Dig deep,
something
brother.
like-
Dig deep.
Yeah,
Dig
okay.
deep. All right. Don't break that bowl, man. Don't break that bowl. No, you know what I'm saying? That's an exclusive collection.
we had to charge
Take the
you
bowl
labor.
back, brother. Take the bowl
Okay,
back.
all right, brother.
All right, read that question. And we apologize for Naka's handwriting even beforehand.
Yes, might be. Yeah, it's kind of braille, so you might have to rub your
They
fingers.
were like the
on it.
miseducation of the Negro. It's just based on him and shit like that. So,
Old Mississippi
Old
Negro.
Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Scenario. Okay,
all
I
right,
got it.
scenario.
Scenario.
All right.
This
Here
is
we go,
funny.
yo.
This is funny. Okay.
Okay.
Scenario. You don't eat pork.
Nope.
You
Okay.
travel to an African village. The whole village honors you, sits you down, and offers you food with pork in it. What do you do? Eat it or refuse it?
Okay.
First of all, I mean, just say before you answer.
You gonna let him answer before?
No,
you
I'm not about that. I just
That's a
just
question, brother.
I just want to, the characterization of the question is sort of like American attitude about whether or not Africans eat pork left and right. They're not, unless the Muslims and stuff like that. So just let you know that. For
That
your
ain't got nothing to do with it, man. Let him answer the
No,
question.
I just was saying for your edification because you're ignorant. But go ahead. Go ahead, brother. What you think? Well, you gonna eat that pork, or are you going to insult the entire village and say no?
Entire village of
Because you have
of Naka's family and
dietary
shit.
habits.
You know what? Listen.
What you gonna do?
I'm just gonna be real with y'all.
What you gonna do?
Okay.
I'm gonna have to eat that pork. Cause I don't listen. This is why. Cause you
really eat pork on the low.
I don't want to.
And nigga, I was looking for because I got no problem with it.
No, but I don't know. I think I do it because first of all,
You from Mississippi?
I'm from Mississippi.
Okay.
I don't speak a single African language, so I don't even know how to tell them. Like, listen, y'all, this ain't that. I don't know. I'm just had to go, and then I'm still I'm outnumbered. Like I'm in a foreign country. I'm out. No, not doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to eat the swine, man.
Yeah, eat that swine.
Eat the swine. Deal with the consequences
Be a
later.
good dignitary.
Okay.
There you go.
Ambassador of a culture.
You know what I'm saying?
And help support Eat That Swine.
It's in the name of diplomacy.
Spoken like in the name of diplomacy. Spoken like a true fan of Cold Child, music Cold Child.
Music Cold
All right.
Child.
Kamal speaks Haitian.
It's from last week. Don't even try to understand.
Don't even worry about it.
We're gonna edit that out.
I
baby.
wanted to hear it. I was about to say, go.
Oh no, brother, I'm with you. I would
never
eat
knew it
the
existed.
food.
Yeah,
You're
I gotta eat the
dignitary.
pork, man.
You supporting other people. You out there for a reason. You probably supporting something that's a little bigger than that. So that's what you do.
So what if you was allergic to it? You still eat it? You like, fuck it, I'm going to
Nah,
die
I can't
in the
die in the
motherland.
name of diplomacy. Nah,
You ain't die in the name of diplomacy?
I'm gonna have to pass. I'm gonna have to pass.
That's what
on
black
that
folks
one.
do in
Like,
the name of America.
So when we come back, we're gonna have Ken the Misfit. What's the song you gonna sing for us?
It's called Drugs.
See, now that's why. See,
Drugs.
okay, now this is why he's gonna eat this shit, cause he's gonna be higher than the motherfucker in this African country. And he's like, nigga, I got the munchies.
I'm gonna eat that.
I'm eating this pork.
You
from
get
the
high
root to the
enough, it
tooth.
don't even matter. There you go.
We're gonna come back with drugs. Y'all want Renegade Culture? We be back.
Black out.
I ain't never been high like this. I don't even wanna come down. Kinda figured from the first hit that it wouldn't be the last time. Always feel like I always need it. Always thinking about it when I don't. I keep telling myself I start over tomorrow, but we both know that I won't. Cause every drug is the next best. It's the next best. It's the next best. Hey, it's the next best. It's the next best to you. Pills can't give me the feeling, and the weed can't give me your high. Cause every drug is the next best to you. If you gon' keep on supplying that shit, then I'm probably gon' OD. Cause I can't ever get enough of it. You got me feeling like you own me, whoa. But I kinda love it like I need it, and I'm always thinking about some more. I keep telling myself I start over tomorrow, but we both know that I won't. Every drug is the next best. It's the next best. It's the next best. Hey, it's the next best. It's the next best to you. Pills can't give me the feeling, and the weed can't give me your high. Cause every drug is the next best to you. They say that I may need some help. I put my common sense up on the shelf. That thing you do, you know you do it well. And I'm relapsing, here I go again. Yeah, every drug is the next best. It's the next best. It's the next best. Hey, it's the next best. It's the next best to you. Whoa. Pills can't give me the feeling, and the weed can't give me your high. 'Cause every drug is the next best to you. Look at me, I think I need some help. They say I put my common sense up on a shelf. That thing you do, you know you do it well. I'm relapsing, here I go again. Every drug is the next best. It's the next best. It's the next best. Hey, it's the next best. It's the next best to you. Whoa. Pills can't give me the feeling. We can't give me your high. 'Cause every drug is the next best to you.
Where you at? Where you at?
You.
Renegade Culture.
Shout out to Renegade Culture. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Word up, dope shit.
I'm Ken the Misfit, baggage claim, February 14th.
Block out.
All right, dope.
Good shit, man.
Happy 100th episode of Renegade.